Welcome everybody for the course Data Analysis with Python. Finally, we made it to this point. Yeah, great. As you can see, we have some data, and of course, you love Python, don't you? Yeah, I know. And you make some analysis in a form of, and you may present it as in a chart or a graph or in some graphical representation. Uh, in this slide, I just prepared some pointers. We did the introduction already, so no need to do that. And then I will talk about what is data analysis exactly, what are the tools and the technologies we use most of the time, and the editors that I may recommend and what most people are using, and data itself. What is data itself and data sources and data types and data formats. And then finally, we do the setting up of our computer uh, for data analysis. I just took this definition from Wikipedia. As you may see, data analysis is a process of it's collecting, inspecting, cleaning, and transforming and modeling data with the goal of discovering useful information and to do informing conclusions and supporting decision making. So we collect data, we clean or pre-process data, we transform the data we have into different formats, we do the data modeling, and we do all this just to get some insight from the data and to improve our decision making. And the data analysis can be used in multiple facets or approaches, and it can be called in a different names. It has been here and it has been used in different disciplines, and it can help to improve actually the effectiveness and productivity of a company. So it really play a great role in a company. Yeah. So data analysis tools. So what are the tools most people are using? uh, People used to use most of the time R and Excel. But I recommend Python because Python is very powerful. You can do quite a lot with Python. And Python is lightweight. There are a big community, lots of people are using Python, and it's easy to get a package that can solve some problems. So it is very important to know Python if you want to be a data analyst. And of course, to increase also your chance in job hunting, also R will be also a very good candidate. Yeah. Then I think it's also good to have a SQL or MongoDB database, but you don't have to. Yeah. Sometimes you may fetch data from SQL, or maybe using some Python, you may send data to databases, and it may you may want to store. And Excel is actually just there for us to, it can be used as in a data format, and it helps us also to process the data. Actually, it has quite a lot of tools to do data analysis. So, but I'm not in favor of Excel. Thank you. Editors. Okay, Anaconda is my favorite, and just by having Anaconda, we can have Jupyter Notebook. I think that the PyCharm is already also included there, and even Visual Studio Code is there. Sometimes I may use also Notepad plus just because it's just lightweight to see my code, differently. So sometimes you may need a different editor, but you don't have to have all. But most probably we will use VS Code and Jupyter Notebook. Yeah, so these are just text editors or code editors that we are going to use. Um, Skills. What are the skills you may need to be a data analyst and maybe a data scientist or maybe a machine learning specialist? I don't know. Then I think that's going to be programming. Programming is very good and it quite solve a lot of problems. So it's really good to have a programming skill. And I would recommend first go for Python. Give it a try for Python. Python is so easy to learn and it's very straightforward, very close to human language. And mathematical, yeah, so having a mathematics background, you don't have to have a very solid mathematics. You have to have at least a very good understanding of linear equations, functions, yeah, simultaneous equations, all those kind of, even quadratic equations, yeah, and then linear algebra, like matrices, all those. It's very good. And maybe if you go further, it's good also to have calculus. Statistics is very important. Descriptive statistics, especially, yeah, and I believe everybody knows, like the mean, median, mode, range, variance, deviation. All those are very basic, and everybody should know. And basic probability, and even you can get it, and even you can get take it further. Yeah, databases, as we have mentioned already, as you can see, we have here MongoDB. It's a kind of NoSQL database or non-relational database. And these are some of the skills that can be mentioned when we talk about data analysis. But not all. You don't have to have all at the same time, yeah? So if you have just a Python skill, already you are halfway. Or if you have a very good mathematics background, you are already halfway. Yeah. You may not have all together at once, but it will come sooner or later. So wait and see. No, just keep learning or just take some course. Then okay, let's move on. Data. Where can we get data, guys? Tell me. I think I'm just talking too much. How about you tell me? Uh, First, I think it's good to define what is a data.
Can I try? Sorry.
Yes.
Data is a collection of facts, anything that we can store it as data. So in fact, it's a collection of raw facts.
Okay. Yeah. Data is a collection of raw facts. Yes, that's a very good definition. Yeah, data is a small unit of information. It's an information stored in a different format, right? Yes. So where can we get data now? Data can be found nowadays everywhere. Yeah. Now even we are generating data. My lesson is being recorded and stored as in a video data format. Yeah. So we are generating data together. When we do online activities, we are generating data. When we comment, when we like, everything we do on digital devices generate all data. So we are creating data, and the number of data is growing exponentially every time. Yes, even the corona is making it to grow much faster than ever before because we're generating different kinds of data every time. Yeah. So, do you believe that data is everywhere? Can you do you agree with this statement?
Yeah.
Okay. So now even your voice is recorded as a data. Data is everywhere. Every online activities generate data instantly. Everything you tweet or post on LinkedIn or Facebook, anything you do can be tracked and can be collected as in data and can be stored. If someone is storing it, collecting it, and what do you need there? A database. So you should have a database to collect those data. Of course, you are doing the activities, and your activity can be stored to a database. Sources of data. So all these sources of data. For instance, let's take Google. Google is so nice. Google give us a service, and Google collect all our activities when you visit a shop, and it asks you, okay, how was the service in this shop? It asks you to rate. They are um, they are actually collecting data in different forms. So that means they knew that you've been in that shop. So they also just track how many people are going there. It's easy for them by just see the traffic. They know that that's a popular place, and they give some insight for that recommendation. They can make recommendation based on the number of people going to some service places. So organizations, so it could be Facebook or Google or schools, institutions collect data for different purposes. Yeah, for research purpose, and the research could be a variety of researches, educational, health, whatsoever. Different kind of uh, data can be collected by organizations, websites. Yeah, websites, as I mentioned already, Facebook is a website, a social media website, and they collect data. Blogs may have a comment. For instance, if you go for what it is, Quora or something, this the Quora, there's quite a lot of Reddit. If you go there, quite a lot of information. It's a forum there, and there are lots of research articles published based on the data that has been collected from those forums. So they are a source of data sets. Yeah, data is actually, they call it the 20th century petroleum. So everybody's collecting data and make use of the data, the knowledge they can get from that data. uh, APIs. APIs are actually, it's a form of structured data you can get from a website, and then I will show you how API looks like. We will fetch API data and make use of API data. So we're not going to develop an API, but we will make use of API data. Yes. Okay, where do individuals? Yeah, as we individuals uh, are the people who create data every time, every day while we are interacting with our gadgets. We are creating lots of data. Educational portals. For instance, if you are using different educational platforms, so maybe they can also collect your data. They have everything about you, and they may study your behavior, study behavior. Yeah, and not only just a single person, but like as a mass. Do students submit their assignment at the last minute, or do they do a day before or 2 days before, a week before? All those. So for educational purpose, data can be also collected from educational platforms or portals. And I have just mentioned about blogs and online forums already. Yeah, do you have any question so far, guys?
No.
No.
So clear, right? Okay, types of data. Yeah, most of the time we may say structured and unstructured data because by nature this structured data, they have certain kind of structure. We programmers, we need something to be structured, to have some pattern, you know. JSON, for instance, it has a kind of key value, key value, key value pattern. XML also has a kind of a tree structure, and I should have some example here. APIs, most of the time they are nowadays applied as a JSON, so APIs are also JSON files, so they are structured. Unstructured data, most of the time textual data. I made this, but I also took some a diagram from the internet, and I will talk about this. As you can see, they structured it also here, structured data having a defined data model, format structure, most of the time databases. Yeah, mm, this one semi-structured, for instance, spreadsheets and XML, they are a kind of semi-structured. Uh, for me, somehow they are kind of structured, but it depends on, this is a kind of a subjective decision, as you can see. So it's not just a white, just it's not just something you can say this or that. Uh, this course is structured textual data with erratic formats that can be formatted with effort and software tools. Yeah. Clickstream data, this is actually a data that can be produced when a user interacts on a website. Unstructured data that has no inherent structure and is usually stored as different types of files. Text documents. If I have a text document, it's just a text, it doesn't have any pattern, right? Any kind of. So this is just a highlight for you. We will go through practically. I don't like to use slides that much because I want something practical, but we will do more of that after this. Images and videos. Those are also under unstructured. Okay, these are the different data types you may encounter. It's for instance, it says here structured data and structured data, but these are a big category. Okay, you don't divide this. It's a different. It's not a category, but it's a kind of a type, a different type. But this structure is a kind of categorical. So we may have natural language data, so it's going to be more of a text, and maybe it could be also a voice. So you may have a text and you may deal with text. Someone was talking about natural language processing here. Real-time data. For instance, now we are producing data at real time because this lesson is happening at real time. And there might be also some event somewhere happening right now. People might give likes, tweets, some lots of things happening. So there might be also that kind of real-time data. Geographical data usually have longitude, latitude, and all those information related to some geographical locations. Linked data, a kind of a data structure, a data that link it to another data in one way or another. So it's a kind of a linked, yeah. For instance, you may say Okay, Asabine, if you say Asabine courses, it may lead to 30 days of challenge. Okay, 30 days of challenge may link to different uh, um, challenges. 30 days of JavaScript, 30 days of who is the author. Yeah, the author is Asabine, and he most of the time publish 30 days of challenge. And 30 days of challenge can be branched down. So it's a kind of linked network data. This data related to network means the HTTP network protocol. Those the data that can be generated there, event data that can be generated by event. To be honest, I'm not sure what event they are talking about here, because event is that event organized by people, or event this by interacting with, like for instance, guys, this is the mouse movement event. This can be recorded and stored, by the way. Any activity on the internet uh, can be recorded. We call it event. This is on hover event, clicking event, all those kind of events. Time series data, whenever you want to forecast something for the weather or maybe a stock exchange relate in terms of time. So that is time series data. So this actually summarizes the kind of data you may encounter as a data analyst. Yeah. And I took this image from this website. Data formats, and it has a typo here. I hope it's data formats. Source of data can be in a different format. Textual data, as in text, CSV, .csv file, .tsv file, .json file, .xml file, and this .xl file. This could be the most common data formats. Okay, and we will work on this by loading this, and we will work on this kind of data. And then what's next is actually going to be setting up your machine. So the first step, you have to install Python, and then we may install Visual Studio Code, and then later I will show you how to use Anaconda. Um, yeah, that is the introduction part of data analysis with Python. Do you have any question?
Yes, I have one. I guess that we are using Python 3 version.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yes, because
Okay.
Python 2 is dead already. No one is updating it, and everybody and everyone has to use Python 3.9 something, 9.2 or 9.5. So we will see it after this. Any other question if you have?